watching the Reef Node YouTube channel. So, before I get to the main topic of today's video, I thought I'd just give a quick update on what's going on with my new tank build. It's still happening, absolutely. There's just been a couple of little delays. Good things come to those who wait, and it's probably going to be a couple more weeks before we really get to the exciting points in the build. But rest assured, everything's okay, just a small delay. But yeah, we're getting there. So yeah, we should have it in place shortly. In today's video, what I wanted to cover is another coral food. And I know I've done a lot of coral foods on this channel, and I told myself that I wouldn't do any more unless someone put out something different, because a lot of them are getting very samey. You know, that you've seen one or two, you've seen them all. And then I came across something that's very, very different to anything else on the market, and I've been using it for the last month or two. I'm really impressed with it. I even put it under the microscope, and there's a really good reason for that, which I'll get to shortly. So the food is Reef Enhance. It's new to Australia, although it's been available in the American market for quite some time. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's from Reef Bright, the same company that makes this LED strip that I have precariously hanging above my tank right now. I'll also be doing a video on the Reef Bright strips, but I'll probably wait until I've got both of them mounted properly on my new tank before I do a full video of them. What makes this coral food unique, and not just like any other powdered coral food, is that it's not a blend of ground up krill or phytoplankton or mysis or any of the other ingredients that are commonly found as part of the coral foods that we typically feed to our tank. Most of those blends that we feed to our tank as part of coral food, reefroids being probably the most commonly known, it's essentially ground up, dried, freeze-dried, dead matter that would, yes, form part of a coral's diet. But with any of them, you are essentially just dumping food into the tank that, if it's not captured by the corals or eaten by the fish, is going to rot and decompose and become nitrate and phosphate. This product's a little bit different. So what this actually contains is microbial spores, or phytoplankton spores. That's the cyst form of many of the microorganisms that make up phytoplankton. It's the cyst form of their life cycle. So you can essentially think of this as phytoplankton eggs. So what you're actually adding to the tank when you add this product to your water is not something that's essentially already dead and just going to decompose more if it's not eaten by the fish or coral, but something that is actually potentially going to hatch and become alive and then provide a food source throughout its life cycle. When exposed to water and allowed to settle on the substrate that is provided within the powder, as well as the substrates of your fish tank, these spores will actually hatch and become live. So you're essentially contributing microbial life forms to your tank to continually feed the coral, which I think is really, really neat. It also means that the impact this will have on your nitrates and phosphates is going to be vastly, vastly less than dumping regular coral foods into your tank, which have no living organism in them at all. It's just already dead. So I think it's a really neat concept, and from my month of testing, it really works as well. When you add this to the tank, the coral goes just as ballistic as it would from some of the best coral foods on the market that I've tested in the past. But additionally from that, you're not going to be contributing massive nitrate and phosphate into your water. I took the opportunity, with access to a microscope, to have a look at this under the microscope and give you an idea of what it actually looks like and just how small this microbial plankton really is. And what you can see here is those little uniform circles. Every one of those is a microbial spore. The larger pieces, that's the substrate that those spores will bond to in the water column and eventually settle out on the surfaces within your tank, such as the rock and the sand. It takes a little while, but the spores will hatch and become live phytoplankton in your water. The instructions that come with it say that you should have one scoop, the scoop is provided for every 25 gallons of water. So for my tank, I use about 3 scoops, and it does say that for best results and to give the plankton the best hatch rate as possible, to let it sit in a cup of water for about 20 to 30 minutes before pouring it into your tank. It will of course hatch in your tank, it's just your filtration is going to act on it as well, so best to give it a fighting chance, and I'm never a fan of turning off your skimmer or turning off any of your filtration when feeding the tank, because I think the risks far outweigh any minor benefits that there might be. It's just as easy to let it sit in a cup of water for half an hour and then pour it into the tank. When you look at this powder, you'll see it's pretty obvious that it's definitely very different to the other coral foods you'll see. Not only does it smell different, but it looks very different, and clearly under the microscope it is what it says it is. For reference, this is a regular coral food under the microscope, and you can see that there's a big difference between the two. Anyway, food for thought, or food for your coral. I thought it was pretty interesting and I wanted to tell people about this product. It's very new to Australia, as Reef Bright has only just recently been imported into Australia for the first time, and this came along with it. But I'm sure many people in America have had access to this product for quite some time. So if you've used it and you're an American viewer, please post down in the comments below. Certainly I'm excited for it in the Australian market, and I'm a big fan of this as well. I'm going to be using it on my tank moving forward, because the results of when you feed it are absolutely outstanding. The polyp extension and the reaction from the coral is huge. So I'm going to leave you with some footage of my tank. This footage is taken about 10 minutes after feeding this, so you can just see how quickly and how much the corals react. Anyway, that's all for today. My name is Marcus. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be releasing a lot of new videos and a lot of new content as my new dream tank build progresses, so stay tuned for that.